This is the test for reducing sugars. So the reducing sugars you need to remember for your exam are glucose, fructose and maltose. So we have two samples again, sample A and sample B, and the solution that we use to test for reducing sugars is called Benedict's solution, and as you can see it is a lovely blue colour. So we add some of our sample to each tube, so sample A and sample B, and we add Benedict's to the solution. So both of the solutions would start off this Benedict's blue colour. And what we need to do next is heat the samples. So we've created a hot water bath using a tripod here with a Bunsen burner, and we've just heated some water up in a beaker. So we just leave that. And for your exam, the temperature that we look to aim to heat the samples to are above 60 degrees. So this is boiling water to hot water bath. If you talk about adding samples to a water bath, you need to make sure that you say it's hot, because of course you can have a cold water bath too. So we just leave the samples for a few minutes and we should start to begin to see a colour change. If a reducing sugar is present, well then we should see our sample change away from this blue colour, and you'll see a range of colours appearing. So at first the solution might turn a green-yellow colour, and finally to orange and brick red. So we just need to leave the samples for a little while, and depending on how hot this water is, depends on how quickly we'll see the reaction occur. Now what's happening is the Benedict's solution is blue because it contains copper ions, and it's actually the copper ions that are interacting with our samples to produce a solid product, and we call a solid product a precipitate. So we see the colour change because of the solid particles that are being formed within this reaction. You don't need to know anything about this specific chemical reaction, but if you study chemistry, it's a good extension activity. So as you can see, solution A is starting to change. If I just bring this a little closer, you can see that it's starting to turn a greeny yellow colour, whereas sample B is remaining the Benedict's blue colour. So we know already that this is a positive result, and sample A definitely contains a reducing sugar and sample B doesn't. Again, if we take a white background, it should be easier to see the difference between the colours of these two tubes. So you can see sample B on the left there is definitely still a blue colour, and sample A, I could say, is turned green, yellow, and the longer we leave this, the more it will develop, depending on the concentration of the reducing sugar. So at the moment, the colour has changed to yellow, and that indicates a low concentration of reducing sugar. If this does eventually convert to a brick red colour, it indicates that there's a high concentration of glucose present. So even though this is a qualitative experiment that we're doing, it is just indicating the presence or absence of a reducing sugar. We can get semi-quantitative results by the colour change. So a green would indicate a low concentration, and brick red a high concentration. So it looks like this reaction has completed, it's not changing anymore, and it's stopped at a light orange colour. So it's not a very, very high concentration, but it's higher than if it had have stayed at green. So this is the reducing sugar test.